Welcome to the fan wind down for Insecure.
Yeah. Cheers. Cheers, everybody.
Yes, I'm welcoming Warren, Amari, and Asia. And this is your girl, Charlotte. And you know, we do Sexy Saturdays. We talk love, sex, and relationships. And it's all honest, real, frank, and raw. And I wanted to do something with the whole insecure because I'm going to be honest. Let me get this out of the way. I adore and respect Issa Rae. Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I've been a fan of her since YouTube when she had Awkward Black Girl.
Yeah.
But the only thing is I couldn't relate to Awkward Black Girl because I didn't go to the college like her. I couldn't relate, but I supported when she started doing all these other little TV series on YouTube. She had that crew and they were doing like different things. So I would just subscribe and support because I had to. I mean, you know, Black creators, we have to support, even if we don't relate, even if we can't watch. There's nothing wrong with just hitting the subscription button, okay? So I say that with Insecure. When Insecure came out, everybody I know and their mama was telling me I had to watch Insecure.
Yeah, for sure.
I refused to watch it because of the word insecure, because I'm older and I come from a place where I just really hate insecure women. To the point where they're so insecure, they're doing craziness. And I hate when I see shows that kind of always put that out there. It's like when you see a show about guys and a group of guys, they don't really show how insecure they are right off the bat. They show how strong and how smart and how intelligent, how sexy they are. And then they'll have a little insecure plot to it. But when it comes to women, it seems like they always just want to show us looking desperate for a man, you know, don't have our stuff together, woe is me, crying this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just so sick of that. So when Insecure came out, that title, I was just like, I'm not watching it because I already know. So I already was like, you know, just
you're over it.
I just didn't even want to see it. And so my best friend, she was kind of getting angry with me. She's like, I can't believe you ain't watched it yet. And I'm just like, dang, girl. So this time I had got bombarded by like 3 other girls. We were on a Zoom talk and they started talking about Insecure and I was quiet. And they was like, Charlotte, how come you're not chiming in? And I was like, because I have no idea what you guys are talking about. And they ripped me a new one. And they were like, you better get
You better get with it. You better get with it.
You better catch up. So I promised. So I did the whole binge thing. I had a whole weekend and I watched season 1 all the way and then I'm caught up. So yes, I will say that.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yes, I wanted to invite you guys because I wanted to get y'all perspective because I'm still a cynic. I want to hear why y'all love it so much. And me and Warren, we were talking before you guys came. I'm a New Yorker and I hate LA, the social part of LA, because everything I see on Insecure, I have not seen for myself.
I have an explanation for that, but we can get to it.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm just like, you know, New Yorker. Me and Warren was talking about it. You know, we're about realness, keeping it straight, and you know, not all the fake stuff. And unfortunately, I'm in the valley. I just been getting nothing but fake, fake, fake. And I've been like, where are the Black people at? So when I see Insecure, I'm like, where they at? What's going on? So
They're not in Mar Vista. They're not in Mar Vista.
Okay.
I'm gonna say this: the implants are not ours. These people that moved from Oregon, Idaho, Australia, whatever, they come to LA with this LA persona, but they are not LA. Because real LA people have immigrant homies. All of our friends are Latin people of different like variety. We also have like lots of Asian friends. We are multicultural, and it's like a gumbo of people. We're really down to earth. We go to the swap meet for good finds. Yeah, we look fancy and yeah, we look nice, but also we paid like $4.99 for like that shirt that you guys are trying to find on like Fashion Nova for like $30. Like real, like actual Los Angeles people are super down to earth. It's these fucking implants that come from Oregon, Mississippi, and other places, and they come here and they tell their parents like, I'm live in LA, I'm from LA. And then when you ask them, they're like, oh, I'm from LA, and you're like, no, but where are you originally from? And they're like, Nebraska. They're not ours. They're not ours. And so like me and Asia are actually from Los Angeles. I think that we're both really down to earth. And we relate with insecure because it reminds us of our friends who we know who are actually from here, including the fact that every LA person has one gang member friend, at least one. And that's like a real thing in LA. And like it's casual and you love them and you respect them, but yeah, you're like, he probably puts in work on the set. And that's just what it is.
That what she said is actually valid. It's a lot of stuff that I see on Insecure, like places that they go, restaurants they eat at, that I go to often. Yeah. Like, and even in the last one, she was talking to her brother, and he was in Little Kingston, the Jamaican restaurant. Now, although it was an actor serving him, because I've never seen that kid there, but it's just like showing the real side of LA. Because, like she said, a lot of it is fake. We went to school in Canoga Park. We graduated from Canoga Park High School.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we know the Valley scene just as well. I grew up in like the hood of LA, like the South LA, South Central LA.
And they would bus us in.
Yeah,
they would bus us into the valley. Yeah.
So it was like, and seeing Insecure is like, we can make it. We can do this. This is us. This is our area, and this is her doing it. You know, it's really cool.
And I wanted to have the reason why I picked Warren is because he said something really unique. You said that Insecure shows the educated.
Exactly, educated minorities. You know, it's a scenario where, you know, for me, I grew up in Long Island, I grew up in the Hamptons, so scenario, I can relate to Issa in that regard. We went to a predominantly Caucasian university. I went to Notre Dame. You know, she went to Stanford. It's a scenario where in high school, I was never in a class with another African-American. So, you know, I can relate to that aspect. But for me, you know, my friends and a lot of people I hung out with were people of color. So, you know, for me, coming out to the West Coast, and when you think of LA, you think of this negative stereotype. Everyone's gang banging. Everyone's the low riders. You know, we're the educated African Americans and educated minorities. And, you know, when you look at a show like that, you see Lawrence, you see, you know, Chad, you see Andrew, and these people upwardly mobile minorities in making it happen. Whether it be Molly, she's a lawyer. Issa Rae, you know, gaining traction. She's starting to move up in the world. Even Nathan. So it's a scenario where I live in Mar Vista. So it's a situation where I haven't really seen that pocket of African Americans, but I know they exist.
If you do, they're not ours. They're like foreign Black people that come from like Germany and they move to like Mar Vista or the beach because that's typical. Like they're not the people from here typically.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know, and even like many of the ones you see down around like, you know, Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, Brentwood, those, some of them are posers, as you guys know. And the other ones, they're so affluent, they're not on a normal level. You know, it's a scenario where, you know, it's almost like, it's not racist in a say, it's elitist. They're at a different level, so they don't really associate with people, you know, like during the O.J. Simpson trial, and they said, OJ, you're Black. He's like, no, I'm not Black, I'm OJ. That's the mindset.
Exactly.
That's the mindset. That's the mindset that, you know, I try to avoid. You know, so I just want to find normal minorities who are upwardly mobile and, you know, never done anything immoral, illegal, unethical. You know, you just live your life in a proper and a positive way.
So let's get into season. Let me just, since I had to catch up with you guys. So this is all the things that I didn't like, but now they're getting to it. So throughout season 1 through 3, I was just like, why is everybody sleeping wildly with, you know, just reckless? It was just reckless for me. I was like, where's the condoms? I was like, is everybody this?
A lot of people felt that way. Yeah, I saw that.
In season 4, I was glad they finally showed a condom. I was like, yes, thank you.
But Condola still got pregnant. She still got pregnant.
But at least they showed one condom.
Yeah.
And then what else did I and then I know it's a comedy or whatever, but I just thought that they went, this is my issue. When you go so far to show people that insecure, my question is, does it help or does it hurt? Like when Issa went into the garbage bag to find, you know, dude's information. I mean, are women really that crazy and insecure that they will do that?
Yeah.
Some men are too. Some men are as well.
Yeah. I've heard crazy stories from my friends. Think about it. My mom always says the youth is fiery, and she's always told me stories about things she did in her early 20s when she thought a dude was creeping. Like one time she told me she crawled on the side of a bed and to get to his phone while he was sleeping because she knew his passcode because she'd been watching him text it like multiple times throughout the day. So then she memorized it, crawled on the side of a bed, and then got in his phone while he was sleeping. Now that's insecure. And it's like it's not okay. It's not okay by any means. But I think that different women have gone through insecure moments. Like I've gone through like when MySpace was a thing, going through people's MySpace messages because I figured out it was very easy to hack actually back in the day. That's probably why MySpace doesn't exist anymore.
Charlotte, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that.
Yeah, like if you took like someone's like username and you put like a backslash and you put your inbox number, you could get into their inbox. It was really simple. Oh. And so like I remember like doing these things when I was like in my teenage years, so I had nothing but time except to be emo and sad and like, does he love me? Does he love me? So now I think this is like the adult version of that. Even like Molly's behavior with Issa, don't mess up what I got going on kind of thing, and it's because she's so afraid to lose this thing. Women are insecure. I think all women to a certain degree are insecure, but what I don't agree with is women who are insecure about other women. Like, yeah, like, so I feel like we walk out the door, there's so much pressure on us. We have to do so many things. We have to be, attractive, beautiful. We put our makeup together, we do our hair, whatever else. But being insecure about other women in general, and like including your close female friends, I thought it was nice that they showcased that because as you saw, everybody on Twitter dragged Molly's ass for being weird.
Yeah.
They were like, that's not girl code, that's not okay. And it's really refreshing to see a lot of women like in our time realize that like you shouldn't be in competition with your friends.
That is true.
That is definitely valid. So it's three of us collectively as a best friend group. Our third is not here, but we consider her like she's the best looking one out of all of us. And I think that that's not necessarily insecurities with us, but it's more of like, we're so bent on like, all of us are like, no, you're the best looking, you're the best looking, you're the best looking. So it's all like, we all kind of just dump it on somebody at some point. And it's like, I like that we all three of us like uplift each other. But we tell her she's gorgeous, she's like, no, stop, you guys are great, da, da, da. So it's like, I don't like the idea of women being insecure with women either. And I get it to an extent, but at the same time, it's like, at what point do you realize, even when it comes to men, like women who are married and like, it's like a single woman around their man or something like that, or in the vicinity, they're like, oh, I don't want her near my man or anything like that. It's kind of like, sis, like, at what point do you realize that your man might be the problem? And like, maybe it's not me and my singleness, like, Yeah.
Yeah.
And Warren, what do you, okay, so do men, when you see this, and this is
yes.
thing, and ladies, I will want you to chime in on this after Warren, but does it help or does it hurt to show this insecurity to this example? Because my thing is, will women who do this crazy stuff, will they say, well, she did it, it's all right? Or will they say to themselves, you know what, that's kind of crazy, maybe I should self-evaluate? So Warren, how is it?
I look at it as, it's not a male or female issue. Men have insecurities as well. And I think it's a positive because it basically illustrates what actually is going through the thought process of a female or a male. And at the end of the day, I look at it, a lot of it is just fear. We just have to take ownership of our feelings and our beliefs and our thought process. And, obviously you don't want to act negatively on it, but just view it, be introspective and work on yourself. And at the end of the day, I love the two young women, they were talking, and, what I felt was like, you can feel it. It's a scenario like Molly's situation. I didn't like the way she acted toward Issa, but that's just the normal process. She was just basically learning more about herself and, acting out. And that's what I think she was doing. She was just acting out.
As a man, what crazy scenario have you either yourself or know of others where a man has done something so crazy, like going in the trash or sneaking into somebody?
I'll give you an example. I have a brother back in Long Island. He has 8 kids by 6 different women. So
he's fertile.
Yeah, that we know of. But it's a scenario where, one of his baby mamas basically was creeping. It was someone that he disliked. So a scenario where, he had friends monitor her whereabouts, and one night, she was out at about 2 a.m. So he found he was kind of, sipping. So he went over there and got into a confrontation, and literally he was on the 2nd floor balcony and got thrown off. And she was just there sitting there watching a movie. And I'm thinking, is it that serious? So what if she's, doing something, wrong? He got staples in the back of his head. It was a scenario where he's banged up. Oh, for what? And I'm thinking, was she worth it? No. So yeah, I've seen it firsthand.
Okay, so ladies, do you think it helps or hurt when they showcase like the dumbness, like that one, what's the character that's just out of control? The one that changes her language and the crazy one.
Kelly.
Kelly.
She's my favorite. She's my favorite.
I can kill
Kelly.
Kelly.
Great.
But you gotta
She's
remember
awesome.
also, Kelly is one of the writers of the show. She is one of the writers. So originally Kelly wasn't written into the show, but because Kelly's so funny in the writer's room, they gave her a part in the show. So I think her character is for comedic relief. It's not even anything to really relate to. It's just something to soften the roughness of the rest of the episode.
But she's also the realest character.
But we should take it with a grain of salt. But also, like, she lives in her truth. She is who she is. She's just like a cartoon character, like, conception of like the best friend that we need for comedic relief. We're not even mad at Kelly because Kelly's not problematic. But Molly is. Like, Molly out here competing with her best friend. Anytime she can, tears her best friend down. Anytime she can, says mean things to her best friend. And that should be showcased. Because I think a lot of women have frenemies and they don't know that they have frenemies. Mm-hmm. And they keep putting up excuses for these friends. But then when they see it on the grand screen and they see people commenting about it, they're like, well, maybe my Virginia isn't a nice person or something. Like, they needed that, like, realization to click to be like, oh, shit, my friend actually might be trash can. Like, she might be a trash can. And, like, if she is, separate yourself and find people who are better friends. And I even like the fact that Issa at one point tries to find better friends. Now, granted, she meets these scam artist girls, but
I love that episode. I loved it.
It was so trash. I was so mad at Kyla Pratt because I was like, we raised you better. But, like, I was happy that they showcased that because, yes, that's also going to happen when you break up with your best friend and you go out here and you try to find other people. There are a lot of damaged people walking around Los Angeles. Again, they are not ours. They're just out here. And, like, you might try to befriend them and you might have these moments with them and they might burn you too, but it's about finding your tribe in the city. And I always say that when you come to LA and you're from someplace else, you got to find your tribe of people that, like, make sense for you because it makes the city that much better. And
makes sense.
Like,
makes sense.
Yeah, and so I was really happy that was showcased.
Yeah, I got to definitely find my tribe because I haven't. Warren, you think?
I was going to make a quick comment. You know, we're talking about Kelly. I think from the show, she's from Philadelphia, and she has that male East Coast persona. Yeah. You know, she's taking what's hers. She's not allowing life to happen. She's taking life by the horn. You know,
I'm the Kelly.
She is the Kelly of the friend.
No, and even when you talked about the three, you know, she was trying to find a new tribe, and the three women from back east, you know, scammed her. That's East Coast game. That's just, you know, you're either a victim or victimized. So it's a scenario where if you allow it to happen, that's on you.
How do you know that's going to happen if you meet a bunch of girls at Paint and Sip?
You don't, but you
just... Paint and Sip.
But anything that seems that convenient and that easy is, you know, the downfall is coming. Anything for free is not free.
Nice. Like,
nothing in life is free. Nothing in life is free.
She's that one.
She's
the one who's gonna get got.
It doesn't happen very often. It's happened a few times, but it doesn't happen very often where you meet like a group of people and I'm like, I'm so glad I met y'all. Now we're friends for life. It happens often.
But what Warren is saying is when you're from a New Yorker, you don't get yourself set up. So
no,
like,
exactly.
She should have had her own. Like, she should have told the waiter, I'm taking care of my check only. These three are together. I'm by myself. See, that's what a New Yorker would do right from the start, right from the
exactly.
You don't know them, so you give them your card. You be like, "This is my card. Whatever I have is on me." These three. So
then you're on game because I wouldn't have thought of doing that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of doing that.
Whatever they would have pulled, you know, a New Yorker would have been like, I'm good. You know, you got my card, you took off my, you know, and that's it. Because we're so like defensive.
Exactly.
What's so funny is that actually happened to me and my sister before where somebody dined and dashed on us on my sister's birthday.
Are you serious?
And it wasn't even like, we were at a restaurant, we were at BJ's and one girl that I guess was a friend of her mom's daughter or something like that. She just happened to know the girl and we saw them in the restaurant. We had already been waiting on a table and they were at the bar and they were like, oh, we're just going to take our drinks and stuff and come sit with you. They had drinks and appetizers and everything already. And they come to our table when we get it and they sit with us and they ordering all this stuff and they're like, oh, we're going to run to the bathroom. And they don't come back. And it's my sister's birthday and the waiter is like, hey, you know, here's the bill. And we're like, oh, we didn't have that. You know, we had only this. And they're like, well, where are the other two? And we're like, we don't know. We didn't end up having to pay for their stuff, but it was more of like a learning experience, not necessarily for me, but for my sister, because again, I only paid for mine and my sister's things because it was her birthday. Nice. But she was like, I don't even know her like that for her to be doing that and stuff like that. And I was like, you don't have to know people, you know, like for you to know her at all and she still did it means what? Like she don't care.
That's more of an East Coast mindset. It's almost like I said, victimize. It comes at the end of the day, people run game. So
that's literally what it is. My boyfriend is from New York. Like I said, he taught me a lot.
Okay, so with Molly and Issa, now I will say with Issa's character, Issa was too needy, and she was kind of a user, in a sense that she always expect Molly to do stuff for her. Like I had friends that were kind of like that back in my day. I didn't, you know, it's not cool because somebody's making more money to be like, oh, well, you got me, you know, oh, you got me, you know, that's not respective, you know, because it's like we all pick and choose our path, okay? Mm-hmm. And if you pick to be an artist, like I pick to be an artist, so I always tell my well-off friends that are doctors, you know, lawyers, they make, you know, really good money. I never ask them, you know, I never ask them for things. I never say, oh, feel sorry for me. I love my life. I choose to be a creator. Sometimes when you be a creator, sometimes you're going to be broke. And sometimes you can't go to places. But also as a creator, you can have money, but what you do is you wind up flipping it. You keep flipping it and flipping on projects.
So that's the New York mindset.
Yeah, so it's not that you're broke. It's just like I'd rather flip my money on a project than flip my money on shoes or flip my money on a trip. So with Issa, I feel like she didn't have that mindset, maybe because she's from LA, because she felt too comfortable with, oh, we're at lunch, you're gonna treat. Oh, can you ask him to do this for me? Oh, can you do this? She was always asking too much. So I can understand why Molly kind of was like, you know what, I'm getting a little tired of you. But I do think with their history, Molly went too far. And she put too much into that relationship that she just got.
I was going to say, I think the crux of the dissension came from when Issa went around Molly to get to Andrew, to get the performer for her event. That's when it really stuck to Molly. She was like, you couldn't even go through. I told you basically I didn't want to, you know, interfere with our relationship and have you go to Andrew, but she went around the circuitous route and, you know, without telling her. And that's what I think.
I'm going to say that I don't think that Issa went around what Molly said. So here's what I feel. I feel like the reason why Molly didn't want Issa involved or want Andrew's name tied to it is because Molly felt like Issa was going to fail, because Molly feels that Issa fails at everything else, and she didn't want Andrew's name tied to Issa's BS. Now, Molly also didn't know all the work that Issa was really doing behind the scenes, because Molly wasn't being that friend or that best friend to know what she needed. Like Tiffany put her up with Condola, the network. Kelly was like, I can do whatever you need me to do, financial, whatever, Bartek, whatever you need, I can do that. Molly, on the other hand, in her head was like, Issa's gonna fail and she's gonna need me to get her out of this one. I don't want Andrew's name tied to that. So when it came to the actual block party, Molly only went, I feel like, to see Issa fail. I agree. And she expected Issa to fail. And when Issa didn't fail, she felt bad because she was like, oh shit, she really did this. And that's why she brought her that plate of nachos and was trying to make amends. But even then, she didn't even recognize that Issa was the one who was doing all this. Issa was the work behind it. If I felt like Molly needed something to be mad at, because even though you didn't want to ask Andrew, Issa bringing it up to Nathan and saying that she was looking for this artist and whatever, and Nathan going, oh, well, you know, I'll ask Andrew for you. That's not necessarily Molly going behind Issa's back. Issa be going behind Molly's back. That's her venting to a friend who, if Molly and Issa weren't friends, Molly wouldn't even know Andrew. They met at Coachella through Issa knowing Nathan.
That's true.
So I don't think it was necessarily a thing about Issa going behind Molly's back, but because of Molly, like, oh, well, you went behind my back, because she needed to be mad at something. Mm-hmm. She had nothing to be upset about.
Mm-hmm. And then my 2 cents about it is the fact that I feel like Molly is one of those friends and one of those girls who we all know who's okay with their friend doing shitty in life, but the moment they start doing something better for themselves, they try to crush that, and they try to push it down, and they try to make them feel shitty about it. And she had seen how far Issa had come. Now, I don't think Issa asked her for a lot. Like, for instance, when they have girls' nights, Issa would just be like, can I spend the night? That's not asking your best friend for a lot. Can I spend the night because I'm going through something, because I need to get away from a relationship that's not going anywhere? I don't think that's a lot to ask from your best friend, because your best friend is like your sister. And also with this venue and her like working at it, every step of the way, even before she even asked Molly about help or possibly talking to Andrew, Molly was condescending and mean the entire time. On their hikes, she would say rude things to her. At the grocery store, she was saying rude things to her. She never supported her friend. And I think it's like that crabs in a bucket mentality.
I love that. I was going to say the same thing. I love it. Yeah.
Crabs in a bucket mentality. She did not want her friend to do better than her. She did not want her friend to rise to the occasion. And the fact that she did, I feel like she only showed up to that event to be able to say something shitty. And when she got there, the fact that it was amazing, what could she say? She couldn't say anything. She was stumped. And then she chose that time to like rip into her. So she still made it about herself. She still couldn't let her friend have her moment in the sun. Mm-hmm. It still had to be about her. And that's why her ass is single at the end of the season.
Even at Issa's mixer, Molly shows up and is like, let me talk to you about my problems with Andrew. Like, this is an event that I'm throwing. Are you not realizing that? Molly didn't even realize that this mixer was an event that Issa had put together.
Exactly.
She wasn't even consciously aware of the fact that her best friend is doing this. So she it's like she doesn't support that. She doesn't,
as long as she can tear
feel
her
the
down.
need to support it. As long as Issa's beneath her, she's good.
So my question to the group is, so do you think that Molly's a narcissist? Do you think she displays narcissistic behavior?
Yeah, but then also, and then some, because remember the opening scene of like season 1? White people love Molly. Black people love Molly. Everybody loves Molly. Well, now her friend is telling her that she needs to check her shit and that she might be off. Even when she told her she needed to go to therapy, it was World War II. Like, she can't handle criticism at all. It's like she is one of those people that needs a gold star for doing the bare minimum all the time. And if she doesn't get it, sink you, destroy you.
It's clearly her way or the highway. Like, what she says has to go. That's the end of it. And that's, I think, I knew that was going to be a problem with Andrew from day one.
Yeah, we called
her whole persona, even like his brother invited them out to the game. And she's like, no, I'm not going to go. But even in that episode, the smallest things, she walks in the house with Chinese and Andrew's like, oh, I thought we were getting Indian. She's like, yeah, but I chose Chinese because of this. Like, you didn't even have the decency to call and ask that man if he was cool with you picking Chinese. Like that's selfish, and she doesn't realize that. And I think that it makes me mad that the argument that she had with Andrew and then them having to go find Tiffany and all of that is what made her really come in contact with Issa. Because even when Andrew was like, well, she invited you out, the least you could have done was start the conversation. You didn't want to because you didn't want to look at yourself. You didn't want to have that conversation.
Even when the therapist said you should look at yourself, why is it always you? Why is it always this? Why does it have to be your way? She still had like 110 answers about why she couldn't do it. And that's a true example of a narcissist. Exactly. It's not me, it's all of them. Like, that's not the case, bro. It's you. It's always you.
I see that, in our current politics, basically, I don't know your political views, I don't care. But, I see that day in, day out, basically, when you deflect. You're afraid to take ownership. I look at it as when I mess up, I admit it. I have no problem admitting it. But also, Molly, the path she chose, she's a lawyer, a Black female lawyer. So a scenario where she has to be strong-willed, has to be strong of mind. So maybe that's just ingrained in her that, I have to be this way in order to succeed in my profession.
And I was just about to chime on that. I was very Molly for a long time, in the sense that when you are trying to be perfect in everything that you do, then you expect others to be perfect as well. And when they don't, you judge them quickly, and you judge them harshly because you're so used to judging yourself quickly and judging yourself harshly. And that was me for a long time. I realized that because I wanted excellence in certain things and I pushed myself a certain way, when I didn't see my friends or my lover or anybody not pushing that extra mile, I would be like, just judging them. Like, just.
What's your zodiac sign?
Huh?
What's your zodiac sign?
Libra.
That makes sense. You need that balance.
Okay.
You need that balance.
It wasn't until a friend said to me, they said, Charlotte, you want to be at the top of the mountain, and there's nothing wrong with that. And she said, but there's some of us who just only want to cheer you onto the top because we're comfortable being at the bottom of the mountain. And that finally woke me up, like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then I started realizing that balance. It was like, now I have to learn to see everything from every side. Everybody can't be an extrovert. Everybody can't be an entertainer. Everybody can't want to speak up. And in these crazy times, it's even more prevalent because you see with all the riots and the police brutality and Black Lives Matters, like there's certain people you thought would be in your corner would be speaking up and they're silent. Mm-hmm. There's some that you thought would be silent just coming out and you like, whoa. So I think with Insecure, what happened is somebody like me who just hated it in this last season, I'm learning to appreciate it, to appreciate seeing other people go through their shit and then evaluating it and seeing how they did it. So even at the end when Molly and Issa are sitting down, I kind of was like, oh, okay. But usually I'm like, fuck that bitch, fuck Molly, don't.
Right, agreed, yeah.
That's literally how I was. And I actually, if you guys haven't, I don't know if you listen to podcasts, but our other friend actually told us about this podcast, Therapy for Black Girls. And they they have episodes on Insecure as well. And what's something that I realized, what they were saying was that like Issa and Molly are not seeing the growth in one another. So it's hard for them to grow together because they're still looking at each other like Issa, like college Issa and college Molly. So Molly can't see the growth that Issa has in what she's doing and what she's trying to get done and like her maturity. Yeah. And Issa can't see the growth that Molly has, although it's minor, but it's there. They're not really even, but they're not really paying attention. Yeah, they're not really paying attention to that. So their friendship isn't growing because they're still looking at each other as their college selves, and that's not the case. So right. I felt like once I listened to that podcast, they really kind of broke it down, and it kind of made me stop disliking Molly as much. I still don't like her, but but it kind of helped me see from a different perspective of things, because it was like Molly's taking on all this anger on behalf of other people that aren't angry, and it's like, okay, where's this stemming from? What is the root of all this? Because there has to be something there that makes her, that puts this fire in her, that makes her want to take on this anger on behalf of people that aren't even angry. She was mad that that Nathan or whatever asked Andrew, but Andrew was like, no, it's fine. It was just an email. It wasn't nothing. Yeah. You're upset for what? You were mad at your dad for cheating on your mom, but your mom is fine. What are you mad at? Like, what is the real underlying problem here?
She needs to be on the cross for something. She got to be on the cross for something.
Perfection. She wants everything to be perfect. Now, I want to talk about the relationship with Issa and Chuckhead. I call him Chuckhead, okay?
Lawrence?
Yes, that's what I call him, Lawrence. I call him Chuckhead, okay? So, Warren, I need to ask you, why is it so hard for a man when a woman cheats on him? They go crazy. But when they cheat on a woman, the woman is supposed to forgive. Okay.
Well, I think it's a scenario where when a female steps out on you, you feel like there's a flaw inherent in your character or your being. You know, it's almost like taking a piece of you. Whereas, it's one of those situations where you feel, I'm not going to say it's egotistic or narcissistic, but it's a scenario where you feel like, I'm sure Lawrence feels like, hey, wait a minute, I'm Lawrence. Why are you stepping out on me? I'm the end all and be all. Whereas when he goes out and creeps, it's a scenario where, it's no big thing. And at the end of the day, they're still evolving. They're still evolving. So, they don't really see it as a problem. But when you step out of the situation and look at it from afar, you realize that maybe I am flawed. My character is not, where it needs to be or where it should be. But no, it's just, it goes back to the title, Insecure.
Do you think Lawrence overreacted? Do you think he treated her unfairly? Or do you feel like he used this as an excuse to go out and fuck everybody? Because it seemed like he was just on a whole trip.
Well, he used it as an excuse, but also basically it was his way of acting out. It's like when a child starts throwing toys and things like that. You struck a nerve. Issa struck a nerve in Lawrence, and that was just his way of venting, acting out. That's not part of his character. He seems like a really nice dude, but he was just trying to say, this isn't me. What just happened should not have happened. So I think he was just acting out.
Okay, I got one more question as a man, and you got to tell me what this was all about. what was this all about when Lawrence came back and saw her and then just kind of like hit it for 5 seconds and then left? You guys remember that?
Someone told me what that meant, but I can add my little mention.
No, I want to hear what they told you. Go ahead.
I'll tell you.
No, go ahead. I want to hear what they told you.
I actually had a very similar situation with an ex-boyfriend. We had been together for 6 years. The last year of us being together, this man was unemployed and I was funding his whole life. So I had told him numerous times how unhappy I was and how I needed him to step up and do better. He did not. He just figured I'd build a bridge and get over it. And when I finally was like, yeah, bro, I'm done. Like, I can't. I just can't. I don't have it in me to give. The cup is empty. There's nothing to run over. I'm done. We broke up, a year went by, and we had a deep discussion about it, and we did hook up that one more time. But then afterwards, when asked why he wanted to, he was like, I think every man thinks that when they're closing a chapter, it'd be nice to have like a last little like washing of the hands to say goodbye kind of thing. And I was like, well, shit, I hope it was worth it. We'll never talk again in this lifetime, bro, but cool. Like, thank you for that like message. Like, awesome. But he was honest. He was basically like, I think every man thinks that like once they know that it's the end, they want to do it one more time just to say that they did and be out. And also my little scarf.
You know, I just say that's accurate. That's accurate. You know, it's sad, but it's accurate. So
that's why I call him. That's exactly.
It's accurate.
It's accurate. That's exactly why I call him Chuckhead. I'm mad with Lawrence and Molly. Them two, I'm mad with them too.
But I have a question for the group. When Issa and you thought Issa and Lawrence were getting back together, and then you find out Condola's pregnant, how did you guys side with Issa or Condola in regards to which way Lawrence should go?
We have different opinions.
Okay. I'm not necessarily, I feel like Condola wasn't somebody who was like a random, she wasn't no ghetto, just booty call type chick. She's a very well put together woman and she seemed very good. Yeah, to an extent, it seemed like she was kind of just having a good time with Lawrence, and Lawrence may have been a little more invested than she was, but at the same time, it was like they were still relatively early on, so she kind of had that little cushion. But I also feel like for Issa, it's not, I understand how it would be upsetting because, like, of course you don't want him to have a baby by somebody else, but I feel like with Issa, it's like, but at what point do you realize, like, okay, this wasn't while he was with you or while y'all started back doing what y'all was doing or whatever. So now you just kind of have to take a look at it and say, you know, is this what I want or not? It's kind of just like yes or no. Because at the end of the day, fact of the matter is he's going to have a baby. But do you allow that to deter how you feel about him? Because people have kids all the time. I've dated somebody with a kid before and I loved the kid like it was my own, whatever.
It didn't happen while you were together.
No, it didn't, but he already had it. But that's the same thing because they're just getting back together. They're just getting back together, and now he finds out he's having a baby. You're still early into it. So at this point, she was talking about moving to wherever with him or whatever the situation was. I feel like if you love him that much, or if you feel this strongly about it or whatever, like him having a kid by somebody that happened before you shouldn't necessarily stop that. But that's just my opinion.
I look at it as a man.
My thoughts are.
Go ahead.
Because we have very different thoughts.
Okay.
My thoughts are, you didn't think the nigga was good enough to go to Thanksgiving with you, and you didn't really want to introduce him as your boyfriend. He kind of popped up and like you supported it, but now he's good enough to have a kid with. Girl, if you don't go to the chop shop, because she treated him shitty. She treated him like a plaything, and now all of a sudden he's going to be in her life for the next 18 years. That's irresponsible. It's shitty to the kid. It's different than dating a man that has a child, that has a baby mama. If you're no. It's different. Wait, let me finish it. If I met a man and he has a child, that's a different situation compared to the man that I used to date. Once upon a time, we're trying to work it out, and all of a sudden he's got a baby on the way. Usher wrote a whole confessions album about it. That shit's not for the weak of heart. That's something to enter into with a lot of thought. And honestly, Lawrence would be single. Condola, I would be looking at her sideways because even in her like interactions with Issa tried to make it as simple and easy as possible. Condola was being weird. Like, it was like that woman insecurity of like, but you used to date him, and Issa's like, okay, like, let's make fun of him to like make him more comfortable. I'm not a fan of Condola. I think that what she's doing is shitty. The only reason she wants this kid is probably because she's like in her mid-30s, but bitch, adopt. because you shouldn't be tied to this man who you want nothing to do with, really, honestly. And I think that most women now who are millennials feel this way. Like, abortion's a very taboo thing. They think that women shouldn't enter into it with like a carelessness about it. But if that man's not your husband, your boyfriend, your long-term thing, you don't plan on being with him, you don't want anything from him, why bring a kid into this? It just seems unfair and mean to the kid.
Yeah, I agree with her. Warren?
No, my other brother, has gone through this scenario, so I know this firsthand. But it's a situation where, at the end of the day, the decision will always be up to the woman, whether or not she keeps the kid or just, basically aborts or just gives it up for adoption. It's up to her. I look at it, a man should never decide that what a woman should do with her body. But at the end of the day, if she does have the kid, Lawrence has to man up and be responsible to handle his duties in regards to, because she basically said, I don't need anything from you. I don't want anything from you. But still, as a man.
But they always say that, but then they later on do.
No, but I just look at it as anything that you do, you don't regret what you did, you regret what you didn't do. So at the end of the day, take ownership, but this is your responsibility, man up. Even if you want to be with Issa, you still have to provide for your child at the end of the day. But no, Condola, it's in a scenario where I think, you guys hit it up nail on the head. I think she's in her mid-30s probably. She seems to be a little bit older than Lawrence in a scenario where, she said it didn't work out in her first relationship, but now she's ready. So maybe she wants to have a kid no matter what. And Lawrence is a good-looking guy. You're thinking his gene pool must be pretty positive. So, he's intelligent. So she's got to have the kid. But, Lawrence has to man up and, take care of his responsibilities.
Well, I'm going to say this storyline made me a fan because it was so real. It finally was some consequences for being a hoe.
All the condoms, all the lack of condoms that you was talking about.
Yeah, so finally show some consequences. So I was really happy about that. And from my own personal thing, I understand where Issa's coming from. I dated, I was engaged to a man who had 2 girls from the same woman. And it's hard. It's really hard because you do, when you fall in love and you want to get married, you do want to be the first one to give them that father experience. You don't want it to be, it's a selfish thing. You don't want it to be where, oh, he's been there, done that, somebody made you a father. You want to be the ones who have made them a father. You can make them a father again, but for that first time, you do kind of feel like.
I felt the same way when I dated a man with a kid, because I was like, you've done it all before. How great is this going to be for you?
Right.
How more exciting is going to be.
And
you've done it.
Say it's different, but also it came with a lot of baggage, because now you're not only dating him, but you're dating his kids and you're dating the baby mamas.
That's it.
You're dating the baby mama's mama, the kids, and it's their family. So, when you're in a relationship, it's you, them, and your families. Well, when they have these kids, it's their families, So it starts to get kind of lopsided, and it feels really heavy on the person who's bringing less baggage to the table. I think with Condola, I think we're probably going to learn her story in the next season because we didn't really get to find out. So I think there's going to be a reason why she's choosing, why she's making this choice to have this baby. I think we're going to but I'm totally with you. I wouldn't have it if you don't even know this guy, but we don't know if maybe she's been trying to get pregnant and can't. We're going to find out, I think.
That's
later.
what I was thinking. That's what
that's what I was thinking. Like, I was thinking, like, you know what? Honestly, it sounds shitty, but I go to the chop shop because I'm like, yo, if you were a plaything to me and you were just like something that I was carelessly fucking around on and you mean nothing to me and my friends are even joking about it because you mean so little to me and then I get knocked up by you, I'm not going to be attached to you for 18 years. I'm not hitching my wagon to this like horse. Like, I don't have to be with you. And if that was the case and I was really worried about having children, according to the series, Condola had a lot of money and she was very successful and she had a husband and she had gotten money from him. In vitro, bitch, she could have all these other methods of having a child that was actually appropriate for her at the time. I just feel like it's like selfish. I feel like it's selfish.
I think maybe we're going to find out, what if it's the case where she's tried and it's failed and this is like the miracle baby? And if that's what it is.
Well, that's the thing.
Selfish.
So I saw on Twitter, they had made mention of the fact that they were like, okay, so what Insecure is really good at doing is the fact that they do this thing where they give you a minimal spotlight on a character, right? Like, it's like flash a little spotlight on a character, but we don't really know much about them. We get to know them for all of like 6 minutes. They're gone. And then later on at the end of the series or the mid-series for a season finale, we find out so much about their life. They were like, oh my God, we didn't know you were going through that. Oh, baby. Like, and they're really good at that. So I agree with the Condola storyline probably being for season 5. It's like first 2 episodes about Condola and Lawrence's issues.
Yeah.
To touch on that, what happened to Daniel King?
Who's Daniel King?
Yeah, Daniel.
Eli. The man. Where he go?
Oh, the producer? Yeah.
Where
well, she was mean to him.
What happened? Who?
But also, he was
Daniel.
fucking other women at the house.
She crashed on his couch a few times.
Daniel was the juicy piece.
Oh, yeah.
The musician. Yeah.
What happened to him?
The dark chocolate.
Yeah.
Chocolate. He was dark chocolate.
Yeah, Elon Noel with his fine stuff. Woo, child.
What I really liked was the person who did the lighting for Insecure did a really good job of showing Issa on screen with like light-skinned people and dark-skinned people, and like even her and Daniel, the sex scenes that they have with each other, the blue lighting that like illuminates both of their bodies. The guy from Moonlight did, and it was really, really incredible. They did an incredible job of that. And I remember when the Cosby Show was happening, they didn't know how to do that very well.
Oh, okay.
They weren't good at lighting light skin and dark skin at the same time during that time frame, and Insecure did a really great job of that.
They really did, because I was like, this is soft porn. And I was like, oh, but I was like this is soft porn.
Should I be paying for this? Is it after midnight? Yeah.
So let's wrap this up with this one question. What do you guys want to see in season 5? What do you guys want to see?
I'll start. I want to see more Kelly, because I think she adds something to the show that is not there right now. You know, basically, it's authenticity. It's a scenario where also it's just a harshness of reality that the others don't bring to the table. Like Molly has her own issues. Issa Rae is kind of quirky, but Kelly, they need to touch on her story a little bit more, because right now we don't really know much about her. You know, and also I want to see the relationship between Lawrence and Issa evolves. So those are the 2 things.
I want to see 1 hour episodes, because these 30 minutes ain't doing it. And I do want to see a lot more of Kelly. I also want to see kind of more of Tiffany.
I agree.
And where she's going with this little postpartum depression issue she's got going on, because she's clearly got postpartum, and I kind of want to see them touch a little bit more on that. But I do also want to see where this whole Issa, Lawrence, and Condola goes. And I want to see Molly grow. I want to see Molly take that look at herself and say that she was wrong, because she was wrong.
So for me, what I would like to see for this season is like, one of the shows that I really like is The Good Place, and they had the good sense to end the show at the perfect time. They didn't keep milking it. They didn't keep it going on long enough. They didn't drown out storylines, like thinning out the material and fat of it. They got to the point and they got to the end, and I hope that Insecure does that. I hope it doesn't extend longer than it needs to get the story told. But also, with that being said, yes, the Tiffany storyline I feel like is a major thing. I'm so confused why we didn't talk about it way more during the season, because there's a ton of women who have postpartum and the birthday blues, and she seems so fine and so normal and so perfect, and the fact that she's going through so much. I love Amanda Seales in general. I think Amanda Seales is actually, aside from Issa Rae, my favorite character in the show. I go to her Funny, Smart, and Black shows. I think that Amanda Seales is brilliant. So I really hope that they showcase more of what that means to be going through the birthing blues. Because many women have, like, you know, just put their baby in an oven or a microwave or some shit and then put it in a box in the backyard. So I would love to see them explain that so that other women feel safe and comfortable. As far as Molly's growth goes, I don't give a damn about Molly's growth. I really don't. She's such an annoying character. I'd be cool without her for the rest of the series. Nathan, I feel like they keep trying to make Nathan happen. They keep trying to make us love Nathan with his mental health. I hate to say it. I'm tired of the mental health thing. I'm tired of supporting Kanye every time he fucks up because he got some mental health shit going on. Take some medicine, nigga, get over it. Like, I feel mean saying that, but like I have no more sympathy, because you know what your problems are. You're just not fixing them. So with the Nathan thing, if you knew later on that you had some issues, I'm glad that you're working on it. I'm glad that things are getting better for you. But do I care? Not really as much as the storyline. I really just want to see Issa flourish. And I'm sad with the Lawrence thing because Lawrence I really loved. I am Lawrence Hive. When he started fucking bank bitch, I was mad. And I call her bank bitch because she worked at the local Wells Fargo after she figured out what was going on with Issa. I was mad about that situation and her trying to force him into being a boyfriend. Then Lawrence has now matured into being the man that he should be, the man that he always was. And now that he's capable of being it, his life is taking a turn. So I hope things go better for Lawrence as well.
I think with the mental health, a lot of people in the blogs and different people have been loving the storyline because they feel like the Black community don't really tap on that enough. That, you know, we do have mental problems. So with the Molly situation, I do want to see her grow through therapy because I think that would be good for all of us to see that it works. So I would like to see her grow from that. I still can't stand Molly, but I love the actress. The actress.
Oh, yes.
Yvonne Orji, she's great. I watched her stand-up.
I did too. It was great.
Did you watch her stand-up?
No, not yet, but I watched when she did like a Vogue question when she talked about her, she did slang. She translated slang.
African slang?
Oh my gosh, she is so super cute.
Watch her stand-up. It's so funny. It's so funny. And also watch Amanda Seales' stand-up because it's also very funny.
Yeah,
she is funny. She is funny.
Yeah, and what I said to her, I said, she's a good actress because I hate Molly. I'm like, if I can hate you that much, but like you as a person, that's a good actress.
Yes. Wait, who's that other actor that we hated the same amount? Killmonger in fucking Black Panther. We all hated Killmonger, but we love Michael B. Jordan. So like that's great acting.
I didn't necessarily hate him. So.
I thought that he was damaged and he was a little angry and he was doing things that were mean to the Wakandans, so I wasn't a fan of him. But I like Michael B. Jordan's old beautiful self.
So
yeah,
I have a comment. Basically, with the scenario we were saying, what do we want to see next year? My favorite part of Insecure is the wind down.
Yeah,
is the wind down. I wish, not only does the show get extended to 45 to 60 minutes, I'd like the wind down to be 5 to 10 minutes. Because I love it when they're sitting down, just relaxed and just talking. So, yeah.
Also, the Andrew character, my thoughts about the Andrew character, I would like to see him show up again in the 5th season. I would hope that, he didn't go back to, it sounds mean, but I would hope that he's not like, Black women are too difficult. Let me go back to an Asian woman because it's comfortable. Because Molly's a lot. Yeah. It's not even just as a Black woman. Molly's just a lot. Yeah. And I hope it doesn't turn him off from dating Black women. And so, and I know that Issa Rae has made comments about the most disenfranchised race groups being Asian men and Black women. So I was happy she paired them together for the 4th season. But I really hope that somehow, some way, Andrew gets brought back.
I agree.
Nurturing, and he's sweet. So there's no reason.
This is how I hope. I hope Andrew comes back, pimp, player, and break it off with Molly and throw it in her face like this is what you missed.
That's what I meant.
I hope he come back. I hope he come back with a natural Black queen and be like, yes, go ahead with your weaves. I got me a natural queen. Snack.
He went to Nigeria and found him a whole new Molly, with the Molly that's fresh off the boat, like that Molly.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
I like Andrew as the character, and I want him to stay on the show.
Yeah, he's good. And then one last thing I wanted to give credit to. I want to give credit because this was earlier in the conversation. I love that Issa, when they met Condola, I love that they went the classic route, the classy route, where she didn't
fight with each other.
That she didn't fight with her, she didn't stalk her, she didn't dog her, she didn't make it about the woman, she kept it on Lawrence. I want to give them a special kudos for that because we never see that enough. They always show her friends. I love that they kept it real. Her friends was like, oh, let's get her, fuck that bitch, this, and she's like, no. So major kudos for that because they should focus on the man and not the woman.
And I feel like for instance in Sex and the City, when they did I don't know if you ever really got into Sex and the City. Some people don't like it because it's too white. But I like Sex and the City a lot. But I noticed that whenever Carrie had issues, dealing with Mr. Big's women of choice or whatever else. She didn't stalk them. She didn't drive outside their house. She didn't show up and like check that woman's mail. She didn't put death threats on her or hit on her or have her friends like jump that girl. She literally was just like, that sucks and that's a bummer, but I'm going to move forward with that. I like that Insecure did that as well. Yeah. Insecure did a good job of just showing Issa being like, that's my friend. I know her separately. I don't know her through Lawrence. We're not beefing about Lawrence. It might be weird for her because I dated Lawrence, but at the end of the day, that's between them, and my thing with Lawrence is between me. Cool. And
I just have to say, I know Sarah Jessica Parker.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I'm from the Hamptons. She lives in the Hamptons. Yeah.
That's so cool. I really do love Sex and the City. Anytime it's on E, I watch it. Well, so I feel like Insecure is my black Sex and the City.
Do you think that more women are starting to realize that they don't have to hate the other woman as much as if you have an issue, the issue's with you and your partner and not necessarily the girl on the outside. Now, if the girl on the outside is violating, we know about that. That's something different. But if it's a situation where he steps out on you, you should be angry with the man and not the female.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people in our generation are realizing that now that, okay, what am I mad at this girl about?
Good.
Because it's kind of like one of those things where I've gotten to a point in my life where I'm going to be 28 years old. Honey, I don't have time to be fighting. You pull up to my house, you're going to get more than my fist. We don't have the time for that. I don't have kids, but like people got kids out here, people got families. You working towards something at this point. You got shit to lose now. Like, and that's how I feel like a lot of people in my generation are looking. And it's even like, cause I'm 27, but like there's people like that I know that are like 2-3 years younger than me who don't even have that mindset. I don't know if it's maybe like after you hit 25 or 26, you start realizing like maybe fighting ain't worth it. But it's just one of those things where, like I've had friends who like, oh, he cheated or whatever. And it's like, I'm gonna go talk to the girl or something like that. And it's just like, for what? And I'm always that like voice of reason. Like, for what? What are you talking to her for? What are you gaining from that? Because at the end of the day, you don't know what she knows. She can lie and say she didn't know, but at the end of the day, she has no moral obligation to you in any way, form, or fashion. Your man does. So let's start with him. He's the problem. Because I'm so tired of people, like, even when I was with my ex who had a kid, his baby mom, once I posted him, like, messaged me on Instagram and was, like, going off on me about a nigga she swore she didn't want. So I'm like, why are we having this conversation if you don't want him? I'm so lost right now. Like, you're too old for this. You got a kid right now. You got a kid on the way. Like, what are we arguing about, baby? For what? What do you want to fight for? What is that going to do for you? What are you going to gain? You going to be in jail and your kid going to be with his daddy and me? Like, where do we go from here, So it's just one of those things where I feel like our generation is really getting more mature in that aspect. And we're realizing that type of shit is not worth it. We're realizing that a lot of the minor shit that we would have done as kids, or like we saw people in, back in the day or whatever do, some people even saw their moms do it, but it's not worth it. You don't want to be that person now. Well, and I like that.
Well, I think that it's like, it's hit or miss. Because you can be the kind of girl that's like, no, I don't really want to fight with you because I don't really care that much. Then you can meet a woman who does. And you're like, well, then you win, bro. Like, you got it. You got it, sis. You won.
Yeah, we got to fight over him.
Like, I don't want him if we're going to fight over him. I remember having an issue with a man that I was dating who had a small child who was dating another woman. And when I asked him about it, he told me he wasn't. And then she swore up and down that it was her boyfriend. So then at the end of the day, I was like, well, he doesn't seem to think that he has a girlfriend. You should probably address that with him. And then with him, I was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Let's just leave it at that. Because I was like, at the end of the day, if this crazy psycho bitch, because I watch a lot of Forensic Files on the ID channel, these women really do believe that this is their boyfriend or their husband or whoever, even if it's not. And so I was like, with that being said, finger quotations, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be put out in the prime of my life. Go address him, and then I'll address him, but I'm not fighting with you. And if you show up at my house, I'm calling the police. Yeah. And I'm suing that ass. Because I have assets, bro. I'm not fighting you. You think these hands are for fighting? These hands are for lotioning. I'm out.
You think I paid for a gun to fight?
I don't even have a gun. I just lotion a lot.
Is that what you think I did?
I don't,
girl, you could get a bullet.
All I know is I go to the farmer's market a lot, and I own a lot of arnica. So I'm not about to like go use that for something that's unnecessary. So yeah. with that being said, I really do hope that this is something that like women see and are like, that's stupid. We should be better. But at the same time, you don't really know, because it's one of those same arguments that people have about like, gun violence and people watching it and video games and whatever else. And they're like, how violent does it make that person who's playing video games? I think that we were always violent. I just think that we play video games to release it. So TV, this is art. Like, art imitates reality.
Exactly.
This is already going on. You would hope for the best, but you don't really know for sure, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Warren, you look like you was going to say something on that.
No, I was going to go back to, someone in between our generation and their generations, like the Alicia Keys situation, when she started dating Swiss Beats. The scenario was like, this guy already has someone. Everyone's getting on her, and then basically the commentary between the two women, no one talked about him.
Yeah,
the problem was him.
It was always his fault, and it's like, what did you do to her? Like, but also it was also like, she's a homewrecker. And she's this and she's that and she's this and she's that.
But you can't wreck a home that don't want to be wrecked.
Exactly. But I just felt bad because, at no point did he take negative heat, and the women were getting bashed. I'm like, it takes two to tango. This wouldn't happen if it wasn't for him. So, yeah.
The only exception I've ever seen to this ever, and I mean in the history of ever in music, being the Robin Thicke and Paula Patton situation.
Okay.
That would probably be the only case that I've ever seen a case where women were like, he's a piece of shit. Let's stop buying his music. Boycott Robin Thicke for cheating on his wife. But also might just.
I love Paula Patton. I love her. Yeah.
We all love Paula Patton.
I love Paula Patton. Yeah.
But do you think that was because?
I think of deja vu now.
Do you think that was because he was white and a lot of brothers and sisters probably was mad that he had a beautiful black sister in the first place?
I feel like one of those things, we supported his music. Like, black people loved Robin Thicke, and then Robin Thicke betrayed us, and we were like, how could you? We gave you our angel, and you took her, and then you just were awful with her, and you don't deserve her. You don't deserve Paula. Then you tried to write that sorry ass album about Paula, and Paula was in the way. Paula was done.
But you know what? That sentiment that you have for him, that they have for him, we should have that sentiment for all of them. Like,
yeah.
Swiss B had a queen. We should be on his ass too. Like, you treated this queen, she had this, so we got to kind of be like that too. But
everybody has to be held accountable. Everybody should be held accountable.
I want to thank you guys for coming, because I know we went over. This concludes another Sexy Saturday. This was an Insecure fan wind down, because all of us just love us some Insecure. So I thought this would be fun. I hope you enjoyed. A special thanks to Warren, Amari, and Asia, and to you, the viewer. Thank you so much for hanging out. And to all my subs, I love my subs. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe today, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. Please let us know what you think. Were you Team Issa? Were you Team Molly? What do you think about Lawrence and Condola having this baby? Do you think Condola should have the baby? And season 5, what would you like to see in season 5? All right, until next week, I'll see you later.